At 65 years old, he was broke. No job, no savings. Living on a 105 pension check. Most people would slow down. He did the opposite. He picked up a pressure cooker, a frying pan, and said, "I'm starting again." This isn't a motivational cliché. This is the real story of Harland Sanders. A man who failed for most of his life and somehow built one of the most recognizable brands on earth. But what makes his story remarkable isn't just persistence. It's timing. It's leverage. It's understanding a world that was changing and building the right thing at the exact moment it mattered. This is how it actually happened and why it worked. Today, he's a logo. A smiling face on a bucket of chicken. But before that, he was a farm kid born in rural Indiana in 1890. His father died when he was 5. His mother worked long shifts, so Harland started cooking for his siblings. Not because he wanted to, because he had to. By 12, he left school. By 14, he was on his own, and from there, he failed at almost everything. Farmhand, railroad worker, steam engine stoker, insurance salesman, lighting company employee. He argued with bosses. He got fired. He quit. He tried businesses that collapsed. Every few years, a new idea, a new restart, a new disappointment. And this part matters, because for decades, he wasn't Colonel Sanders. He was just another struggling American trying to figure life out. The truth is, his life looked ordinary, uneventful, even unsuccessful, until one small unexpected decision changed the direction completely. To understand Sanders, you have to understand America in the early 1900s. This was a country built on mobility, migration, improvisation. Side hustles before they were called side hustles. There were no safety nets, no career ladders, no predictable paths. You hustled or you didn't make it. And by the 1930s, something huge happened. Cars changed everything. Road trips exploded. Families started traveling. Highways spread across the country. Roadside diners became the social hubs of small towns. Meals weren't just food, they were the experience of traveling America. This economy created a new kind of entrepreneur. People who didn't build companies, they built places. Gas stations, auto shops, road cafes. And this is where Harland Sanders finally found his place. By 40, he was running a gas station in Corbin, Kentucky. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't stable. But travelers would stop. They were hungry, tired, looking for a break. So Sanders started cooking simple meals, fried chicken, biscuits, mashed potatoes. It wasn't fast food, it wasn't industrialized. It was home-style cooking on the road, and people loved it. Word spread. Locals came, families came. He slowly converted his gas station into a roadside restaurant. For the first time in decades, life was good. He had purpose. He had customers. He had momentum. He had finally built something that worked. Until a new interstate highway was built, and it bypassed his town completely. Traffic disappeared. Customers vanished. His restaurant died almost overnight. Sanders didn't just lose income, he lost his identity, his reputation, his life's work, years of effort erased by a map line. At 65, he sold what was left, paid his debts. And all he had was his recipe, a lifetime of mistakes, and one thing that worked. Most people at 65 have retired. Sanders didn't. He did something almost irrational. He said, "I'm not rebuilding a restaurant. I'm franchising my recipe, not the building, not the brand, just the chicken." He packed his car, slept in the back seat, drove town to town. Pitching restaurant owners. His offer was simple: use my recipe, follow my method, pay me 5 cents per chicken. No gimmicks, no investors, no corporate backing, just persistence. He was rejected over 1,000 times. People laughed, ignored him, told him he was too old. But eventually one said yes, then another, and quietly, almost invisibly, Kentucky Fried Chicken began to spread, not as a restaurant chain, but as an idea spreading from kitchen to kitchen. Here's the part most people miss. Sanders didn't get rich running restaurants. He built a licensing system. Restaurants bought ingredients, used his pressure frying method, followed his seasoning formula, paid royalties per chicken. It was low risk, high leverage, infinitely scalable. He didn't own the buildings, he didn't manage employees. He owned the idea. He owned the process, the thing no highway could take away. That was his leverage. And it worked. Because the timing was perfect. America was booming. Franchising was emerging. Fast food culture was rising. Sanders wasn't early, he wasn't late, he was exactly on time. Eventually, KFC was everywhere, and Sanders sold the brand for $2 million. That's around 17 to 20 million today. But here's what's fascinating. He didn't sell a global empire. He sold a rapidly growing system before corporate chains took over America. And when he sold, he negotiated smart. He kept a lifelong salary, paid travel, public appearances, and most importantly, his image. He didn't manage KFC. He became the symbol of it. He turned himself into an icon. The same man who once lost everything now owns something that couldn't be repossessed. His story. People say the lesson is, never give up, but that misses the point. The real insight is deeper. Age gives you leverage, because with age comes experience, patterns, better instincts, fewer illusions. Sanders failed for decades, but when the opportunity finally appeared, he knew exactly what to build. He didn't build a restaurant, he built a system. He didn't chase success, he positioned himself for timing. And when the world changed, he was ready. He wasn't late. He was right on time. If you think time has passed you, remember this story. It's not about fried chicken. It's about patience, timing, and the quiet power of starting over when everyone else thinks you're finished. The same man who lost everything on a highway reroute built something no highway could destroy. And next, we're covering another late success legend. Subscribe if you want more stories like this.